Tsunami Studios.
Iron Man issue 7. That's right, folks. We are finally headed to space in the climactic story of whatever the hell's happening in Cantwell's Iron Man book. It's fantastic. This issue focused on a lot of interesting stuff that it makes sense this is what you focus on in an Iron Man story. I just never thought we'd see it. You know, there's an underlying factor throughout most of this issue in particular, and through the whole run, actually, is this concept of, is Tony Stark a god? Is kind of like a theme that we see here. Same with kind of like Korvac, are these two godlike egos able to become actual gods? And there's a huge theme about religion and what it means to be at one of the universe and stuff throughout this book, and I think that's such a cool thing to see. So we open up this book, we are seeing Tony and Rhodey getting ready to go into battle. Basically, they're like upgrading a part of Tony's armor like twice as heavy, so there's like so many like megatons, like 20,000 megatons. Now it's going to 40,000. Basically, the idea is if Tony punches something that isn't going to break with this force, it's gonna like kill him because it's so much force that nothing can sustain it. So he's like, it's fine, it's gonna break Korvac. Even if it just cracks him a little bit, that's gonna make him weaker, and we would have done the job right. So just listen to me, Rhodey. I know what I'm doing. You should trust me on this. I've never messed up before. Kind of what he's saying is like, no, you've messed up a lot, bud. A lot. But that was pretty fun. I like their chemistry. It's great to see those two together again. Rhodey, always a great character to introduce. And as those people are talking, our D-list superheroes are having a conversation. And this is kind of like Cantwell laying a lot of stuff on the table where we're seeing, I don't know what we're seeing. I think you can interpret it as we're seeing Cantwell's idea of like religion and God. Maybe not religion, just an idea of like an entity or a deity in the world. So Frogman's trying to just like say like we should have a name, and he comes up with the term like God Smashers, something like that, and it kind of gets the group into a conversation about God and what really is a god. You see a lot of different perspectives, right? One of the perspectives is, you know, Misty Knight's like, what's the difference between God and Thanos or Buddha or any of that? They're just people. Things like that just exist. And we see that it's kind of like Ben Reilly, who's like, none of it really matters, you know, like we're just like we're just a body. It has like neurons in our brain and stuff and everything. We're nothing. We're just like part of science. That's all we are. There's nothing special about us. There's nothing unique about us. We're just science, you know. Funny coming from the clone, kind of like what Frogman says. And you can see Frogman's kind of like the devout actual Christian. He's like, you talking about like a god or the god? But it's kind of the lines from Gargoyle that kind of sets the group up like, maybe there is a god or maybe there isn't. It's more like what we do for the universe. Like, what do we put into the universe to give ourselves balance and balance to the universe? That's the imbalance that we face every day, is balancing ourselves and the balancing of our universe, which is kind of, I think you could see that kind of like how Cantwell sees things. He's like, you know, we do what we want. You can believe you're God or not, but the idea is, are we at balance? Were we balanced in our own lives? Is kind of what he's saying, and I think that's kind of fun to see. Very interesting stuff. I really like that we spend a couple pages here just talking about those moments of the characters. I thought it was very cool. We see Tony and Patsy are having a conversation, and, you know, Patsy's just like, I'm really scared and I could just like really use a kiss from you right now, but if he takes off the helmet, he's going to break his neck. So she kisses the front of the mask. It's very cute. I think it's cute, at least. It was just kind of fun to see. Very enjoyable. I like them. I think it works. They're both damaged enough people where I'm not upset that they're having this conversation together. And basically, Tony's trying to like put the idea in her head like, you've used psychic powers before, maybe you could use them again and locate where Korvac is, and then like we wouldn't have to have this big fight. And she kind of reluctantly agrees, but she like holds onto his hands as she enters into the mindscape. And we see that on the Korvac ship, he starts to see what she's doing, and they appear on like the mindscape thing, and he's like, how did you get here? How did you summon me here? But she's not alone. She is there with Tony Stark. And I love this so much. This is such a great moment in this book too, because it's so perfect. So the idea is that Korvac's like, I'm building a utopia, the perfectness in the world. I am building it. I'm going to achieve it. Tony's like, that's great. Why don't you show me, and then maybe we'll just stop this, because if it's actually perfect, then who am I to stop you? Letting that ego go down. He's like, oh, I didn't actually think you'd want to see it, Stark. Of course, I'll show you it. So we get a few pages where like going around in the utopia that he's building. And right away, everyone's like, this kind of sucks. Like, it's just a bunch of mindlessness, nothingness in this area. Like, there's just glass and crystals and everything so prestigious, but there's not really any emotion or depth to it. It's just like a basic nothingness, like one entity overall. And Tony's just like, this is dumb. Patsy's like, this is dumb. Korvac's like, how dare you question what I say? This is perfect. Everything I'm doing here is brilliant. And all that stuff. So it looks like they're about to get in a fight, and Tony gets blasted away from the mindscape. You don't really know what's happening with Tony. You're like, oh shit, like, what happened here? But he's not. Tony's not anywhere now, so we don't really know where Tony is. And we see Patsy's about to fight him. Patsy gets turned into like a crystal, one of like the glass creatures that we see in this perfect Utopia that Korvac built. And in the real realm, Misty finds her passed out. Like, again, Patsy is being put through the ringer in this book. It's Tony's story. Like, it's clearly about Tony Stark, but Patsy has just been through so much pain and suffering since like, in 7 issues. She has been, like, almost killed. She's been permanently scarred. She has just been abused and attacked, and now she's frozen in place. Like, this is dark and creepy. So, the team's about to engage in a dogfight. Rhodey's like, okay, we are about to get into a huge fight, and I don't have any gunners with me. So what's happening? Why is everything bad happening to us? Halcyon's doing a great job of flying. We get some pages about that, and it's very cool stuff. And we see that Tony, like, randomly crashed on this random Earth or world he can't really see, and he sees this random, like, barbarian-like creatures, these interesting things. We don't know who they are, but they're just like some random creatures. And that's where the book ends. So Tony is stranded, presumably stranded on a different planet, because he says that his, like, what is he, like, rocket boots or something don't work. And, yeah, that's fun. So, it's so good. It is just such a smart and well-written book. I love this idea that Tony Stark is willing to accept that maybe there is a utopia out there. And if it's worth the damn, maybe it would be something we should look into having for the society of everything. That's something to explore. I love the ideas of, like, God and deities in this book and how it's presented to each of these characters in a distinctive, unique way. I think that's so fun, and something that's very hard to do in the span of 2 pages is just give everybody an in-character moment like that that feels so great and realistic. Cafu's art continues to be amazing. Absolutely some of the best stuff on store shelves right now. It's so gorgeous and so cool. This book is so fun. It's so fun, so interesting, such a great deconstruction of Tony Stark as a character, a great use of Korvac, and it's going to make you smile. I really recommend it. You guys, please read this book. I want it to go on forever. It is that good. So, Iron Man issue number 7, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.